Hi everyone, this is the second lecture on Unit 3 of Polynomial Functions. Today we're doing Lesson 3.2, Characteristic of Polynomial Functions. Polynomial functions can be classified either as odd, even function, or neither. An odd function is a function with an odd degree. The end behaviors of these graphs should be on opposite ends. So if one end of the graph went to the negative infinity of y, the other end should go to the positive infinity of y. It should not be symmetric to y-axis. F of negative x is equal to negative f of x if and only if f of x is odd. In other words, f of x plus f of negative x is equal to 0 if f of x is odd. Now let's look at some examples of odd functions. The graph on the left side is a polynomial of degree 3. Notice the end behavior. One end of the graph went to negative infinity of y, so the other end of the graph must go to the positive infinity of y. And the same goes to the graph on the right side. The right side is a polynomial of degree 5. One end of the graph went to the negative infinity of y, while the other end of the graph went to the positive infinity of y. An even function is any function with an even degree. The end behavior of these graphs should be on the same ends. So if one end went to the positive infinity of y, the other end should also go to the positive infinity of y. And if one end went to the negative infinity of y, the other end should do the same. Also, it should always be symmetric to the y-axis. So if f of negative x is equal to f of x, that means f of x is an even function. Here are some examples of even functions. On the left side, we have the graph of a polynomial of degree 2. Notice the end behavior. One end of the graph went to positive infinity of y, so the other end of the graph did the same, and it went to the positive infinity of y. And the same goes for the graph that's on the right side, which is a polynomial of degree 4. One end of the graph went to the positive infinity of y, and the other end went the same way. Now let's take a look at the basic properties. The only function which is both even and odd is a constant function, which is identically 0. The sum of an even and odd function is neither even or odd, unless one of the function is identically 0. The sum of two even functions is even, and the sum of two odd functions is odd. The product of two even functions is an even function, and the product of two odd functions is an even function. The product of an even function and an odd function is an odd function. The quotient of two even functions is an even function, and the quotient of two odd functions is an even function. The quotient of an even function and an odd function is an odd function. So that marks the end of this video. Please do your assignment as well as upload them for the teachers to mark, and I'll see you guys next lesson.